It was supposed to be just another small-town high school reunion, nothing more than a night of old faces, silly memories, and a bit of harmless nostalgia. My wife, Emily, had been talking about it for weeks. She seemed excited, almost too excited, but I brushed it off as simple enthusiasm. She had always been more social than me, and I didn't mind her catching up with old friends. I trusted her completely, or at least I thought I did. The reunion was being held at a fancy hotel ballroom 2 towns over. I couldn't go because of a sudden business trip that had me flying out the same evening. Emily insisted it was fine, that she'd go alone and I shouldn't worry. She even kissed me goodbye that morning with her usual warmth. But something about her smile felt rehearsed. While I was away, I barely heard from her. Normally she would send me pictures or little texts when she went somewhere fun, but this time? Nothing. Just a few short replies to my messages, claiming she was busy catching up with everyone. Still, I didn't let suspicion take over, not yet. 3 days later, I returned home, and Emily was acting strangely. She seemed distracted, constantly on her phone, and oddly defensive whenever I asked how the reunion went. Her answers were vague, and when I suggested we look through the photos together, she said she hadn't taken many. That was the first real crack in the story. Emily loved taking pictures. Later that night, while she was in the shower, her phone lit up on the nightstand. I didn't usually snoop, but my gut told me something was wrong. I glanced at the screen, and froze. It was a text from a man named Mark. The message read, *, last weekend was unforgettable. I've missed you like crazy. *. My stomach dropped. Mark was her ex-boyfriend from high school, the same one she swore she hadn't spoken to in years. My hands shook as I opened their chat history. The truth was worse than I imagined. They had been flirting for months, and the reunion had been the perfect excuse to meet. The messages left no doubt. They had slept together that night. I didn't confront her immediately. Instead, I decided to act carefully. Emily had no idea, but I handled all of our finances. Over the next few days, I quietly froze our joint accounts, rerouted my income to a separate account in my name, and moved valuable assets into my sole control. Every credit card with her name on it was cancelled. I made sure she couldn't touch a single cent without my permission. Once everything was in place, I finally confronted her. I showed her the screenshots of the messages, the pictures they had exchanged, and every detail she had tried to hide. Her face went pale, and she began to stammer, trying to claim it was just a mistake and meant nothing. I didn't buy a word of it. When I told her I had already frozen our accounts, she panicked. She tried to yell, to guilt-trip me, to even cry her way out of it, but it was too late. I had given her years of loyalty and trust, and she had thrown it all away in one night with her ex. She didn't deserve a second chance, and she certainly didn't deserve my money. The next morning, I packed her bags and left them by the door. I told her she could go live with Mark if she wanted, but she wasn't staying under my roof another day. She stormed out, screaming about how cruel I was, but I didn't flinch. I had made my decision. In the weeks that followed, she tried reaching out, begging for forgiveness, saying she made a terrible mistake and that we could start over. But I didn't respond. I'd already filed for divorce and made sure she wouldn't get a penny from me in the settlement. The law was on my side, and I wasn't about to let her betrayal cost me more than it already had. I heard through mutual friends that things with Mark didn't last long. Apparently, he wasn't interested in being with her once the excitement faded. She ended up moving back in with her parents, broke and humiliated. As for me, I felt a strange sense of peace. The betrayal still stung, but I knew I had handled it in the best way possible, calmly, strategically, and without letting emotions cloud my judgment. She had chosen her path, and I had chosen mine. Now, when people ask why I seem so much lighter these days, I simply smile. I tell them that sometimes, losing someone is the best thing that can happen to you. And in Emily's case, I didn't just lose her, I made sure she lost everything she thought she could take from me. And I don't regret it for a second.